felt like my world was coming apart, and I considered driving off a bridge one cold January day. I was going through a divorce. It was just a horrible, it was the worst time in my life. And I, for a moment, thought maybe I just need to exit this world, and because I was creating pain for my former wife, for my kids, and I just felt so depressed.
This is how Doug Botter, director of the LGBTQ Culture Center here at Indiana University, describes his experience coping with his queer identity. This description may be a sharp contradiction to the bright and happy images often associated with the LGBTQ community. However, Doug's experience battling feelings of depression in the process of affirming his queer identity mirrors that of millions of other LGBTQ individuals. Only 37% of LGBTQ youth report being happy. LGBTQ youth are 4 times more likely to attempt suicide and 3 times more likely to experience mental illness. Doug Botter, director of the LGBTQ Culture Center, attributes the prevalence of mental illness in the LGBTQ community to the history of oppression that LGBTQ individuals have endured.
There's a long history of oppression that gay people have experienced. When I was growing up, homosexuality was considered a sin, a crime, and an illness. As much progress as we've made, it's still tough for young people.
Writer, advocate, rehabilitation specialist, and trans lesbian intersex woman Laura Beth Bucklider believes that mental illness is prevalent in the LGBTQ community because LGBTQ people are often deprived of the freedom to explore who they are and live authentically.
There is great power in living authentically. And when we're in a situation where to be our authentic selves is countercultural, that drives us to a place that, again, leads to that depression, leads to that anxiety, leads to those mental health issues that contribute to the suicide rate, that contribute to the lack of contentment.
The stigmas attached to homosexuality and other LGBTQ identities have very powerful effects on the individual. These powerful stigmas often and unfortunately drive LGBTQ youth to suicide.
I sing in a men's chorus here in the community. It's a gay men's chorus, and we just performed something called the Tyler Suite. It was commissioned to honor the life and death of Tyler Clemente, who took his life 8 years ago at Rutgers University because he was intimate with a man in his room, and his roommate had a camera running and sent that out on the internet and shamed him, and he jumped off a bridge.
Laura Beth also believes that different family dynamics impact the mental health of LGBTQ individuals.
Sometimes one parent is going to be affirming and the other isn't, and that ripple effect goes out through the family. So absolutely, the relationship with the family and the way that a family accepts a child who is identified as LGBTQ is going to have a direct impact on their development.
Laura Beth has a message for families of LGBTQ youth struggling with mental illness.
As far as families improving the mental health of their LGBTQ children, it's really the same answer I would give to improve the mental health of any of your kids. Listen. Take the time and listen to them.
According to Doug, it is essential for LGBTQ youth to have someone in their family who is supportive of them. He encourages parents of LGBTQ youth to ask questions and allow their child to educate them.
I've seen parents do a 180-degree turn when that kind of relationship exists. There was a young man in the office not long ago who had been cut off from his parents as an undergrad. They wanted to have nothing to do with him, cut him off financially. We were able to provide some scholarship for him. He got married last summer to his partner of some years. And as he was telling me, I said, "Were your parents there at the wedding?" And they were. So I have hope that there are situations, but dialogue needs to happen.
Doug believes it is important for LGBTQ youth to know that it gets better. Doug points to his spirituality as one of the main tools that he used to get out of his depression. Religion has long been a place where people turn to for hope. However, many LGBTQ individuals have felt ostracized by the church historically. However, this is beginning to change. University Baptist Church here in Bloomington is working to mend the strained relationship between the LGBTQ community and the church. University Baptist Church is home to several LGBTQ individuals, including Laura Beth. Annette Hill Briggs, pastor of University Baptist Church, has a vision for a more inclusive church.
I want LGBTQ people to believe this is a safe space. And I think we work at trying to make this a safe space for them.
According to Laura Beth, the first step to creating safe, inclusive communities in churches is love.
That, to me, is the first step that I hope everybody takes at some point. It doesn't matter. Love your neighbor, period. And when we can press forward with that mentality, the heartwarming stories become much, much more prevalent.
Laura Beth believes that it is important for communities and churches to acknowledge LGBTQ persons as unique individuals.
You know, we joke, if you've met one transgender person, you've met one transgender person. We all have our own unique story. We all have our own unique journey that brought us to this point.
Laura Beth's advice to LGBTQ youth is to speak out.
There's a lot of stigma that is attached to both being LGBTQ and having a mental health issue. And when you combine those stigmas, it's a lot of motivation to keep your mouth shut. And keeping your mouth shut is about the worst thing that you can do.
Find someone to talk to. That's a simple answer again, but know that there are resources out there somewhere. If it's not in your community, get online. Think about who in your life might be supportive, and they will help you find resources.
If you are an LGBTQ youth struggling with your mental health, there are several resources here in Bloomington to help you. It does get better.